where did you personally develop discernment, right? Because right to make that determination and that level of discernment, how did you make that for yourself?
I always say I'm blessed, and it's something that I'm still figuring out because I don't feel like it's just. But I guess when I'm younger, I used to be with my older brother so much that my sisters used to call me his lackey. I'm always with him. Always they used to talk shit for being with my older brother so much,
Hmm.
and I feel like at some point in time, you know, you of course become a reflection of the people that you with. And at some point in time, I just had the desire to become my own man. You understand me? And I made a decision that the things that I felt like seeing my brother do or see other people do, just having the hindsight of observation, you understand me? I didn't want to become those things, so I started to design who I wanted to become in my own head. And anything that went against that design, I wasn't with. You understand me? My older brother said something to me one day. He was like, he said the statement, bro, you showed real character with what you did. And I didn't know what that meant, but it was few far in between when he gave just out of the pocket compliments that were just it's like, whoa. And so when he said certain stuff, it just stuck with me. But what he was talking about one time, I had caught this case, and it was a case for so-called selling drugs, you know, and I had to get a job. So I ended up finding me a job. It was like painting houses. So I'm painting houses, be on them big ass ladders, painting these mansions, about to fall off and die for a couple of dollars. But you know, I remember during that season, my pops was there that summer. You understand me? He had just pulled up because pops is like he a super revolutionary gangster guy, militant general soldier, right? And there's a lot of stories I can tell about pops, and I'll let him tell those stories. And I'm appreciative of a lot of things I've seen him as a man because sometimes it ain't about what you directly get from your father; it's about what you hear about your father. You understand me? Which is important because it shapes that, which you want to become, right? But I remember that particular season, I'd helped him get a job where I was working at. And my older brother was talking about that. He said that showed character. So I started looking up what the hell is character? You understand me? Like, cause then I wasn't defining myself by somebody else's actions, it was about my actions. You understand me? I wasn't following when I did that, I wasn't following nothing. That was just the
Like,
goodness of my heart.
you
So
you like this
yeah.
my hold on.
Oh, that's who I am. So like you know what's crazy? Growing up in the hood, and this sounds crazy. I never like seen myself as like good. That was never something that like growing up in the hood, being a demon, being a gangster, being a killer, being all of those things. And goodness felt like you was being weak. So I never was like, yo, I'm such a good person. Like that wasn't a persona I walked around with. I was more so, bro, I'm willing to do what's necessary for me to survive. That was more of what I held in high degree and honor. So
Oh,
when I started to hold moral measurement of higher degree, that's when it shifted for me because it became more about being a good person. You understand me? And so when things didn't line up with that identity and that character, then I tossed them away. And so that's a lifelong development because you go through different areas to where you start to gain discernment of that's not good. That's not who I want to become. So I don't follow that. So every young male, I think, is important for you to have a character and an identity that's based on your moral disposition. And you use that as discernment to say that, do I want to become this or do I not? Because your discipline is based on you becoming the disciple of something and then following through with that. So some of you all are disciplined in the streets. Some of you all are disciplined in pimping. Some of you all are disciplined in ignorance. Some people are disciplined, you understand me, at being a good person, disciplined at being a great teacher or a great student. We all have disciplines because we all are disciples of something.
mm, some people are good criminals. Mhm. Yeah, like Red said, good is relative because somebody could be a
Yeah,
good criminal, somebody could be a good douchebag. You're a good a-hole, you know what I'm saying? So it's yeah, good pimp. It's all relative. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
And that
Yeah.
measurement is going to be based on your level of goodness is what you're going to judge yourself by. If you're a really good person and you do something bad, you're going to feel so guilty it's going to turn your stomach inside out. You know, some people they don't realize how pure they are, and when they do something wrong, that self-accusing spirit start to beat they ass.
Mm.
But if you're not that good and your ideas of good is not that good, you're not gonna judge yourself that harsh. So there's not that much karma because remember the karma is what you put out against yourself. You understand me? Like you judging yourself, saying that, all right, you know that force that you enacted, I gotta get back, I gotta get you back for that. So when you by yourself, most people you kill somebody, and depending on how pure you are, if you're a serial killer, you kill somebody, you're gonna sleep like a baby. Because you got no empathy, no emotion, no good in you. But if you are a pure-hearted person, whether it's accidental, whether you had to, you know, defend yourself, or whether you had to go out there and do it vigilantly, you're going to have a level of guilt that's going to eat you up because it is so against the goodness of your nature. So feeling guilty is correlated directly with the goodness of who you are. So if you do something and you don't feel guilty, it's a measurement. You understand me? To know yourself.
Mm. You can speak. Come on. Brother Red in the building.
Yes, sir.
All right. Come on, let me get the man. Hmm? Peace to the God.
Peace to the God.
Yes, CBD. So it was told to me that hate is the absence of compassion. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the point that you brought up about, you know, people lacking empathy and compassion, it speaks to the question that many people have about our open oppressor and why they don't have karmatic, you know, debts that they have to pay, or why do they, you know, why have they carried out what they've carried out so freely and so, you know, like they sleep good at night. You know what I mean? And it was told that the absence of compassion is what we're dealing with and whatnot. And it's a beautiful conversation that you two are having um, about fatherhood and the pros and cons of fatherhood and whatnot. And you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Sidebar. And this also dovetails with the conversation I see you having with Royce. And
Yeah.
Royce said key things about fatherhood and how it has altered his outlook on life. You know what I'm saying? He was just speaking about wanting to be the best father. And that was just so, like, major to see on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I just left Cam Newton, and that's one of the things that he said is that he realized that, you know, I said, brother, I think you're trying to compete with Nick Cannon because he want to go for like 13 children. You know what I'm saying? But fatherhood is one place where we get to be leaders in society. You know what I'm saying? Like nowhere else in the world is masculinity celebrated than right there in the act of fatherhood, where we get to be leaders, we get to be kings, we get to be gods, we get to be rulers with our children and in our households.
we get to be co-creators,
Yes.
right? So
Maintainers, providers, producers, we get to carry out the very act of our essence and our nature.
beyond that, we get to extend our DNA, right? Not
Come
just
on.
our DNA, the bloodline. So if we were sent here to do what? To extend our bloodline, because in our blood and in our DNA is billions of years of ancestors. Shame on the nook who decides because of their what they want to feel that they're gonna cut off their bloodline, right? Because they don't want to extend it. That's a smack in the face to millions of your ancestors. The time is ticking, bro.
Oh, yeah. So we got about a minute left.
Hey.
Again, I
Yep.
want to say thank you. Yeah, shout out to all of the fathers out there. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And all of the men, never too late. You know what I mean? To step up and step into that
Never too
role.
late to be a man.
Yeah. All right. Gold water products, yes indeed. You know, get you some to reinforce that willpower. GOLDEWATER. We at the Royal Chamber, y'all. Come down, check us out. Taco Tuesdays is officially underway.
Inshallah, after I'm done with this photo shoot or this video shoot, well, I gotta see, man. I might try to make it down there.
Okay. All right. We gotta get back
Peace,
to this, y'all.
gods.
Peace.
Peace to the pills.
Peace.